Alright, so we got Rodolfo Vieira versus Anthony Hernandez. Alright, so let's quickly break this one down. For the striking for these two, we will get straight into it actually. So for the striking for these two, Anthony Hernandez, he likes to advance, start throwing combinations, put the pressure on his opponents. With Rodolfo Vieira, he likes to be on the front foot as well. He likes to feint, back his opponent up, get him onto the fence. We'll get him near the fence, and then once they're near the fence, he will shoot. And it's very similar to what Damian Maia does, Hanayaya does. Like a bunch of other Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys, they do the same thing. But yeah, there's no real stand-up threat. There's just the threat of not coming. Their opponents don't want to come forward on them because they're scared of the level change. They'll duck under and get that takedown. But yeah, so he doesn't really have too much stand-up, but he hasn't needed it so far in his career. For Anthony Hernandez, he'll take one to land one. So he kind of hopes his opponent will be in range after he walks through like a combination or just their strikes, so he can land one of his own. But as he closes distance, he doesn't have the greatest defense at all. So his opponents can just land 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 punch combos on him, and he's not defending at all. He's just looking to be in range after they've finished, but he's still there to be hit, so his opponent's still hitting him. So it's not a great style that he has, but yeah. Also, he will leave his lead arm out, sticking out after he pops the jab. I think that's just to close distance, but he may want to have that a little bit lower in this one, so he can start attacking underhooks if Vieira is going to shoot, or when Vieira is going to shoot. Alright, and on the mat is where Vieira definitely wants it to be, and Hernandez definitely doesn't want it to be. Vieira, he can, we know he's really good on the mat once he gets it there. So how he gets it there is that he will go for a reactive double. If his opponent tries to kick, he will just pretty much blast into a double. Like, you see his physique, like, he's a very explosive dude, of course, as well. He'll get onto a driving double leg and drive you all the way to the fence. Pretty much he just looks to get attached to your hips, drive you to the fence, and then he'll work a single leg from there, or a double leg on the fence. So in the open, he will go for a single leg as well, so he'll try to attach to a single leg. It's not as effective as his blast double, but it's just another way he does it. When it does get on the mat, he will, if you're close to the fence, he'll look to angle you against the fence in a position where your head is kind of positioned against the cage, and then he'll look to land some ground and pound. Also, if you're backed up against the fence, like say you're trying to scoot back and then use the fence to get up, he will triangulate the legs like Khabib does, and then he'll work his way up to mount pretty much, and then eventually you'll need a turn if you want to get out of it, and then he looks to take the back from there. So that's what I see pretty much happening in this one. So how these guys win, for Vieira, he has legit grappling, as we've talked about. I can't even begin to break down all this, the stuff and the traps that he sets and the moves that he's making. It'd be a little disrespectful if I tried to, cause yeah, I really don't understand it. It's just too, I'm a white belt with 2 stripes. It's too high level for me. But I just know that he's very good on the ground. And he does a few things very well. But I wouldn't be able to explain all the traps and stuff that he sets. Also, his takedowns are pretty good. He's very persistent with the takedowns. He won't just give up after someone stuffs his double leg. So he knows where he's good, and that's where he looks to get the fight. He's also got very good grappling strength, good grip. He's obviously been doing it his whole life. He's also he'll be able to control opponents' legs with his hands, so that's when you know he's got very strong grip and good strength in the grappling department. So he'll grab their ankles and then just throw them to the side. That's immense strength. For Hernandez, he's got really good cardio, good pacing. Yeah. He's a solid fighter. It's just this is a tough fight for him. So how these guys lose: for Hernandez, he's got poor striking defense, as we talked about before, especially just jabs. He doesn't move his head off the center line very often. He just gets jabbed up, really. He'll back up in a straight line when he's getting bombed on, so that's something Vieira could look at, just setting up his takedown with a overhand right or something like that, and then just coming in, because Hernandez, he's generally on the front foot, but he will back up if you hit him with a good combination. He's got a really good chin for Hernandez, but his body seems a little bit of the chink in the armor there, because Holland obviously finished him there, and Perez heard him and I think dropped him after with a body shot in their fight. So Vieira, how he loses, it's not really how he loses, but it's just a few questions I have. Is that he has unknown cardio. Like, I'm not 100% sure how he's going to hold up in an MMA fight if it goes past the second round. Like, with his physique, you've got to imagine that he won't have the greatest cardio in the third round, but we haven't seen it yet. Also, his stand-up's really basic. He doesn't look comfortable on the feet at all. He looks to get it to the mat immediately, so if he fights someone with good takedown defense, he's going to be in a world of trouble. So, path to victory for these guys. For Anthony Hernandez, so just be patient to start the fight. Look for feints, try and get him moving a little bit. Don't be too aggressive with forward pressure. Try and take the front foot a little bit so you're not backing up into the fence. But yeah, just try and, stay patient in the first round. Try and bring him into those deeper waters. Look for uppercuts, jabs, jabs or straight rights to the body, just to kind of catch him as he's going to be shooting. But don't do any kicks or anything like that, but just keep it really simple at the start of the fight. For Vieira, look to get into that clinch. Once you get in the clinch, look for the body lock. Turn the corner and then take the back from there. Same as, Marcus Perez got it. So if Marcus Perez is getting it, then you'll likely have the same success. Also, if he's going to be charging forward with combinations and being really aggressive, just duck under for a reactive double, put him on his ass. And yeah, as we talked about before, getting him up to the fence with a combination. So just throw your hands for a little bit, and then get him onto the fence, and then shoot your takedown from there. Look for a double leg on the fence. So in conclusion, I think both fighters are fairly green in MMA, but Vieira obviously has more experience in combat sports in general and with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I think it's a real tough fight for Hernandez. I think his tendency to clinch in close proximity is really going to burn him here, and also the fact that he backs up to the fence if his opponent's going to start pressuring him or throw some combinations, and he doesn't really throw anything back. So it's just a match made in heaven pretty much for Vieira. But yeah, I think Vieira just does the same thing he's done in his first two fights: get to the ground and then finish it not long after. Let's look at the betting lines then. Alright, so it's about right. Probably could be but yeah, it's probably about right, to be honest. I think it's, 75-25? Is that what they got it as? Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, so that's probably about right. I think he wins a good chunk of the time, probably like just a bit above 75% of the time. I think he just executes his game plan pretty easily in this one. So I think if Vieira were to get up to like $1.36 to $1.40, I don't expect him to get any higher than that, but if he were to get up that high, I'd probably bet a little bit here. Just because it's so green, I don't want to bet too much, but I think it's value if he gets up to $1.80. I mean, sorry, $1.40. But I don't think I'd bet Hernandez in this spot. I just think he's definitely going to lose. The inside the distance line is not enough for me, in my opinion. So I don't want to bet that. I probably will end up staying away from this fight.